Hello and welcome to the Brasileirão magazine, your weekly update of the most competitive championship in the world. In round 16 there was no shortage of fantastic players, bags of excitement and finely tuned feet. Shot into first, tension, controversy and the win for leaders Atletico over second place Palmeiras. In the last minute, Sao Paulo scored in extra time, took the points and sank Gremio into the relegation zone. Triumphant return. Renato Augusto pulled off a true work of art on his return as Corinthians saw off Ceará. Chasing atop, defending champions Flamengo beat Sport and closed in on Galo. Beautiful goals, brilliant dribbles, thrilling games and much more. It all starts now in the Brasileirão 2021 magazine. Red Bull Bragantino faced Juventus in the opening match of round 16. Fighting for a spot in the top 4 but focusing on the Copa Sudamericana, in midweek, Red Bull Bragantino entered the pitch with a mixed team. Juve saw this as an opportunity to secure their first win away from home and in the end took full advantage. The team from Rio Grande do Sul started to test Julio Cesar with a shot from Paulinho Boia, but the reserve keeper made a great save. The Massa Brutus response was swift. Team captain Rafael Foster got it all wrong and lost the ball to Elinho. The number 11 did a 1-2 with Pedrinho and finished with a low shot to beat Marcelo Carne.
What a beautiful, marvellous opportunity for the Bulls, the powerful strike of Elinho.
A lovely opener in Bragança Paulista. But the pounding finally paid off. The veteran midfielder Wagner brought the scores level after coming off the bench with a 5 finish. A deserved equaliser for Juve to make it 1-1. Just minutes later, he did it again. This time Red Bull messed up at the back and the 36-year-old was there to punish the host for the mistake.
Another terrible mistake of the defense of Red Bull. We'll see once again.
A superb comeback from Juve away from home, and the first 2 goals from the midfielder were in the white and green. Game over and 3 points for Juve as they picked up their first away win of the season. Red Bull went down to their second loss of the campaign but stay in the top 4. Leaders Atletico clashed swords with second place Palmeiras in the Mineirão in an explosive battle for top position of the Brasileirão. Galo were on a roll after 9 straight wins in the competition. Palmeiras had lost top slot after losing at home to Fortaleza. Even though Atletico had an important return match in the Libertadores coming up, Cuca still put out his starting 11. Palmeiras are in the same boat, but Abel Ferreira decided to rest key players as he gave Uruguayan left-back Joaquim Piquerez his debut. The game's first opportunity came from Gabriel Menino. The right-back, Olympic champion, cut into the middle and struck with his left, but it was an easy save for Everson. The turning point came when Patrick de Paula came flying in on Jair and slid on the slippery surface. The referee saw it as a foul and flashed a second yellow, much to the annoyance of Abel Ferreira, who was then red-carded himself. Very late on in added time, Atletico got the breakthrough. Guilherme Arana crossed from the left straight to Savarino. The Venezuelan finished with a first-time shot to open the score.
And Atletico Mineiro take the lead against Palmeiras. This huge match at the top of the table.
Galo killed the game off in the second half. Arana crossed the ball into the area in a contest with Weverton. Savarino won the exchange, his second of the night. And it was pretty much game over as the Greens' first-choice keeper had to be subbed. 2-0 for Atletico Mineiro, who opened up a 5-point lead over Palmeiras at the top of the table. The tricolor from Sao Paulo came up against the tricolor from Porto Alegre in the Morumbi on Saturday evening in an important match for 2 teams who were struggling at the wrong end of the table. Sao Paulo rested some key players such as Dani Alves as they thought about the game against Palmeiras in the Libertadores. Luis Felipe Scolari put out a full-strength side with an attacking trio made up of Borja, Douglas Costa and Alisson. The home team started the game on the offence. Galliano progressed with speed and tried to pass into the area, but the ball failed to reach the destination thanks to Thiago Santos. On the 11th minute mark, Pedro Jeromel brought down Victor Bueno close to the area. The number 12 himself took the free kick with an amazing strike, stuffed the ball into the back of the net. A fantastic goal to get things going in the Morumbi.
A missile of Victor Bueno, no chances for Gabriel Chapecó.
Moments later, Gremio came back with another free kick. Vanderson took a wonderful strike that beat the wall and came off the woodwork before going in. 1-1.
Another perfect free kick now for Vanderson.
Back from the break, Douglas Costa moved on to the left, went past Miranda and found Vanderson in the area. Fortunately for Sao Paulo, Diogo Volpi was all over him to prevent Gremio's second. Sao Paulo kept to the pressure and went looking for the win. But they seemed to have run out of luck when Ronaldo struck with his right, but the ball smashed onto the post. When it looked like stalemate, Rigoni advanced on the left. He raised his head and delivered a perfect cross to Igor Gomez, who scored the winner with a terrific volley in the last minute in the Morumbi. The win left Sao Paulo looking a little more comfortable. With the defeat, Gremio remains second from bottom with only 10 points on the board, but with 2 games in hand. Flamengo clashed swords with Sport Recife in the city of Volta Redonda in round 16. In very different positions in the table, the defending champions were hoping to move towards the top 4, while Sport were trying to move away from a drop zone. Renato Portaluppi was without the suspended Gabigol as Pedro started. Humberto Lusa brought in new signings Hernanes and Everton Felipe. Arrascaeta received on the left and delivered a perfect cross. Bruno Henrique leaped higher in the middle of the Sports defenders and produced a textbook header. The 8th goal from the winger in the Brasileirão to put Flamengo ahead on the scoreboard. The Rubro-Negros found it easy going in Volta Redonda. After an exchange of passes, the ball reached Juan Gomez, who found the net, but the referee signalled offside against Isla at the beginning of the move. Right before the interval, Sport almost equalised through a Thiago Neves free kick that Pedro almost put into his own net. But Diego Alves was well positioned and pulled off a great save. Flamengo kept exchanging passes without difficulties. Arrascaeta had loads of time. Isla got involved, and Everton Ribeiro was fortunate to see his attempt deflect off Ronald Henrique to make it 2-0 to the Mengão.
Everton Ribeiro on the score sheet, Flamengo on the scoreboard, and the Rubro-Negro doubles its lead.
Sport tried to come back. Jose Wellison struck from outside the box and Diego Alves saved poorly. The ball ricocheted onto the crossbar and Isla appeared to deny a goal for Sport.
Out wide to Zé Wellison, the shot! Diego Alves, oh, it's off the crossbar. Will this be the goal? No, it won't!
Vitinho took a corner and Pedro headed well, forcing Mailson into a save of pure reflexes as he stopped a third for Flamengo. Pedro kept insisting. He received a smart pass from Juan Gomez, but his shot had no power from a tight angle. It just wasn't the forward's day. 2-0 the final score as Flamengo bounced back from last week's thrashing against Internacional. The loss left Sport back in the drop zone. Corinthians and Ceará went head-to-head in the Neoquímica Arena in an afternoon marked by the return of iconic midfielder Renato Augusto, who was back after 5 years in China. Silvinho set the team up without any changes from the previous match, with Adson and Gustavo Silva on the flanks. The Vozelle were confident they could keep their 11-game unbeaten run going. 20-year-old Adson was in one of those special days. On the 16-minute mark, Oni created a nice move on the left, entered the box and passed to the winger, who beat keeper Hitchard with a first-time shot. 1-0 Corinthians. And it took only 13 minutes more for Adson to hit his second.
The header, and he scores! Adson! He gets his brace at Neoquímica Arena.
Fabio Santos delivered a pinpoint cross, and Adson did not even have to leave the ground to head into the bottom corner. Corinthians completely running the show and 2-0 on the scoreboard. In the second half, the expectations were all on midfielder Renato Augusto, and with 60 minutes on the clock, the star came on. The number 8 needed only 6 minutes to show exactly why the Musketeer fans love him. After a move from Joe on the left, Gustavo Silva passed to the midfielder. He did a 1-2 with Juliano before finishing into Hitch's top corner.
Renato Augusto, on his first game back, he finds the top corner of Richard. A masterpiece by Renato Augusto.
The keeper got a touch on the ball, but couldn't stop a superb strike on goal. Sierra went all or nothing and scored with Hick moments later. This was also a spectacular goal as he beat 4 defenders before striking with his left.
Hickey, he gets one back for Ceará, the answer that the Vozão needed.
Game over and a joyful day for Corinthians with a brilliant performance of Madsen and a glorious return from veteran Renato Augusto. The result left Corinthians just 2 points behind Ceará in the league. Fortaleza locked horns with Santos in the Arena Castelao with the opportunity to seize the second place from Palmeiras. Santos had their sights on climbing up the table. Juan Pablo Voivoda started with Wellington Paulista and Hobson in attack, leaving David on the bench. Santos coach Fernando Diniz was suspended, so assistant Eduardo Zuma took over as he set up his side in the classic 4-4-2 formation. Moments after kickoff, Fortaleza went ahead. Shinga took the throw in and sent the ball into the box. The defenders tried to clear, but the ball ended up with Lucas Crispim. The former Santos player didn't forgive his old team and struck a beautiful volley to give the home side an early lead.
A fantastic cross from the right.
But the Lions didn't have time to celebrate. In the following move, Santos strung the passes together and got the ball to the wing with Gabriel Pirani.
The chance for Sanchez. Goal!
After the cross, the ball was deflected and Carlos Sanchez headed in to the back of the net. An equaliser for the Coastal Club. After the disallowed goals, Fortaleza had a chance to snatch all 3 points in the last minutes of the match after Haniel handled the ball. Lucas Crispin took the penalty, but Juan Paulo was there to secure the tie in the Arena Castelao. 1-1 the final score, a decent point away from home for Santos, but Fortaleza blew a golden chance to go second. The Pitaçu was the stage for this mid-table tussle between Bahia and Atletico Goianiense. The Tricolor wanted to put a stop to their poor run, while the Dragons were looking to build on 2 recent draws. Bahia fan and Olympic boxing gold medalist Herbert Conceição was in the stands watching his team. The home side kept the same lineup from previous games, with the exception of Hossi, who was suspended. Atletico had all their starters available for the match. The Dragons' Fernando Miguel was put to work after 14 minutes. Lucas Mugni received the ball, got into the box and shot, forcing the keeper into a great stop. Then there was a piece of magic from Gilberto, who struck an amazing shot that just flew past Fernando Miguel. An incredible goal from a striker who scored his 19th of the season, but his first in 8 games. The strike made him joint top scorer in the Brasileirão with Flamengo's Bruno Henrique and Inter's Eddie Nilsson.
A stunning strike from Gilberto! Absolutely willied that one, and just look at the celebration for him and Bahia. An absolutely terrific bullet shot.
Icon Douglas then had his chance to make sure the points for the hosts. He missed, and that would prove costly. The Dragons suddenly woke up. After a good move on the wing, Arnaldo crossed and Zé Roberto headed home for the equaliser. The Dragons punishing Bahia for wasting so many opportunities. The home side then paid the price. Keeper Mateus Teixeira failed to clear properly. João Paulo took the ball down very well and then coolly slotted it home to put his side in front.
For number 2, they put it away! A mistake at the back. João Paulo just slots it home. Atletico Goianiense coming from a goal down to punish Bahia.
The Dragons 2-1 up. Mateus Bahia received the ball outside the area and tried one last effort, but Fernando Miguel was at full stretch to put the shot wide. Incredible stuff. With the result, Atletico moved on to 23 points. The alarm bells are ringing for Bahia, who've taken just 1 point in their last 6 games. Cuiabá took on Atletico Paranaense in an entertaining match in the Arena Pantanal. Coach Jorginho's side lined up with his best 11. Antonio Oliveira put out a mixed team with a big match in the Sudamericana coming up. The away side took the initiative. Left back, Nicolas crossed into the box. Nobody took control until Carlos Eduardo finished with a header that went just over the crossbar. Pepe took a chance from outside the area but was stopped by the defenders. Clayson was there for the follow-up and struck low into the right corner away from Santos. A lovely goal from Clayson to open the score in Mato Grosso.
It's Cuiabá's goal! Clayson finding the back of the net.
Jennison received a nice pass from João Lucas and finished with a powerful shot, but his effort was just off target. Nicao crossed into the area. Wendell cleared poorly and Renato Kaiser took advantage. He struck the ball well, forcing a tremendous save from Volta. A sensational effort from the keeper to help guarantee the 3 points. Game over in Mato Grosso. An important win for the home team, which brought Cuiabá some breathing room in the battle to avoid the drop. Atletico went down to their 3rd straight loss in the competition. Internacional and Fluminense locked horns in the Beira-Rio. The team from Porto Alegre had found some form and were looking for their 3rd straight win in the Brasileirão Açaí. Fluminense have suddenly started to struggle after losing their last 4 in the competition. The Colorado started the game firing on all cylinders. Defender Victor Cuesta reached the box with a perfect long pass to Edinilson. The top scorer headed in unopposed to open the score. The 7th goal from the midfielder in the league. Internacional wanted more. Yuri Alberto found Tyson.
Dangerous counter-attack once again. Thaiso, could this be the 2nd goal? No, it can't.
Flu bounced back to draw level in the first half. In a collective effort, Andre struck a lovely pass to Iago Felipe, who beat Daniel to level the score. Fluminense began to regain control of the match in the second half and almost scored a second with Luis Henrique after a great pass from Iago Felipe, but this time Daniel was there to stop the attempt. In a game that swung back and forth, Inter restored the lead.
Moises now, the cross comes in, it's a good ball, Yuri Alberto!
But there was room for a lot more in this action-packed game. Nino got on the end of Nene's cross and headed into the back of the net. 2 apiece in Porto Alegre. But in extra time, Edinilson put Inter ahead once more. Cuesta sent in the perfect pass and Edinilson pounced for his 8th in the league.
And would you believe it? It's Edinilson, the number 8, with the 8th goal.
At the very end, there was still time for Paulo Guerreiro to leave his mark to make sure of the points. The icing on the cake as he beat Marcus Felipe. Game over and a spectacular 4-2 win for Inter. The home side moved to 21 points after their 3rd consecutive win. Flu went down to their 5th loss on the bounce and have suddenly found themselves in a battle to avoid relegation. Chapecoense and América Mineiro were the 2 best teams in Serie B last year, and they went head-to-head in the Arena Condá, but this time to escape the relegation zone in Serie A. Pintado set up his side with 2 surprises, young keeper Kayla and new signing Jordan. Wagner Mancini kept the same team from the last 2 matches. Before the game started, fullback Alan Ruschel from the Rabbits received a tribute on his return to the arena. Ruschel was one of the survivors of the 2016 plane crash and was the team captain in 2020 when they won the Serie B title. But it wasn't a happy homecoming. On the 12th minute mark, Ruschel tackled Giovanni from behind and received a straight red from the ref. But VAR reversed the decision and the player rightly stayed on. But But just 5 minutes later, Herschel suffered a knee injury and had to be subbed, and an intense and emotional night for the player was over. Xapi had the opportunity to open the scoring. Fernandinho received a beautiful cross on the left and beat two defenders, but his shot was stopped by Mateus Cavicchioli. In the second half, it was the home team's keeper who had to go to work. After a corner, Fabrizio Daniel got the ball and forced Kehler into a difficult save from a brilliant bicycle kick. Towards the end of the match, Xapi went in front when team captain Anderson Leite made a nuisance of himself as the ball bounced into the net.
Would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? What an absolute game we have ourselves.
The Greens coming close to getting their first win of the campaign. But it wasn't to be. In extra time, America put on the pressure. João Paulo picked up the pace. He caused problems before sending the ball into Rodolfo, who powered it into the net for his 8th of the season. 1-1 the final score. Chapecoense stayed bottom as they made it 16 games without a win and look even more certain of a place in Serie B next year. America will be happy with a point away from home, but they remain in the bottom 4. Our top 3 goals start with a superb free kick. What a strike by right back Vanderson. No chance whatsoever for Thiago Volpe as Gremio forced the equaliser in the Morumbi. The Porto Alegre side ended up losing, but Vanderson still makes our top 3 of round 16. Our number 2 choice comes from the Pitasu. Gilberto hit a rocket from a very long way out, but had Fernando Miguel clutching at thin air.
A stunning strike from Gilberto!
Take a look again at our number 2 slot from the Bahia striker. But our number 1 pick this week is from an old boy making his return to the Musketeers. Renato Augusto got the ball from Giuliano, turned outside the box and finished with extreme precision into Hitch's top corner.
Golaço! Renato Augusto on his first game back.
Renato Augusto is back in the Brasileirão in amazing fashion with the best goal of round 16. The best save of round 16 goes to former Corinthians keeper Volta. After a cross from Nicão, Wendell cleared poorly, and Arthur Kaiser stepped in, forcing Cuiabá's keeper into making a fabulous save in the Arena Pantanal. For this tremendous effort, Volta gets the award for the best save of round 16. Ceará travelled to the Neoquímica Arena and came away empty-handed, but at least midfielder Jorginho got the opportunity to leave the pitch with a consolation prize. After an exchange of passes, the player saw an opening and performed this cheeky nutmeg on defensive midfielder Gabriel. It's the dribble that won Jorginho the award for the best bit of skill of the round. Let's take a look at the best players and the coach who impressed us in round 16. In goal, we've chosen Volta of Cuiabá. At right back, Vanderson from Gremio. The 2 central defenders are Nathan Silva of Atletico Mineiro and Leo Pereira from Flamengo. At left back, Guilherme Arana of Atletico Mineiro. In midfield, Carlos Sanchez, Santos, Arrascaeta, Flamengo, Wagner, Juventus. Up front, Savarino from Atletico Mineiro, Anderson of Corinthians and Victor Bueno from Sao Paulo. Our man on the bench is Cuca from Atletico Mineiro. The Venezuelan was the key player in the weekend's big match at the top of the table that left Galo 5 points clear. Savarino scored twice in the Mineirão as he moved on to 10 goals for the club. The player had already managed the same feat in the win against Flamengo. Galo can now celebrate another week as leaders and know that Jefferson Savarino got our vote for Player of the Round. "16 games in, the Campeonato Brasileiro looks like this. Atletico Mineiro have now opened up a 5-point gap over second place Palmeiras. Right behind the Greens are Fortaleza, followed by Bragantino, and defending champions Flamengo on 27. Atletico Paranaense are the other side who make up the Libertadores places. Moving downward table with still big names such as Santos, Corinthians, Sao Paulo. They've been joined by Fluminense, who are now in trouble. But the sides in the relegation zone are Sport Recife, América Mineiro, Gremio and Chapecoense. Everyone available! The Brazilian Football Confederation has announced changes to the Brasileirão schedule for the next rounds. The main goal was to prevent handicapping the teams that had players called up by Brazil coach Chichi for the FIFA dates in September. The teams who have players in the squad are Palmeiras with Weverton, Sao Paulo with right back Dani Alves, Atletico Mineiro with left back Guilherme Arana, and Flamengo with forward Gabriel Barbosa and midfielder Everton Ribeiro. Another one for the Crazy Roosters. Atletico Mineiro have announced another massive signing with the arrival of striker Diego Costa. The club and player reached an agreement on terms last week, and the former Spain international is set to stay at Galo until the end of 2022. Atletico hope to open their new stadium, the MRV Arena, the same year. Another one for the Hurricanes. Forward Pedro Rocha is Atletico Paranaense's new player. Rocha was at Spartak Moscow. The 26-year-old had spells at Gremio, Cruzeiro and Flamengo. The frontman has been picked up on a one-year loan deal. Round 17 of the Brasileirão starts on Saturday the 21st when Atletico Goianiense clash swords with strugglers Chapecoense. On the same day, there's Gremio against Bahia and Juventus will take on Fortaleza. The action starts early on Sunday with Palmeiras up against Cuiabá. In the afternoon, Ceará face Flamengo and Atletico Paranaense lock horns with Corinthians. The evening sees Santos go head-to-head with Internacional and Sport take on Sao Paulo. The round closes on Monday when Fluminense face Atlético Mineiro and América Mineiro take on Red Bull Bragantino. That's it for this week. We hope you're enjoying our coverage of the toughest, most exciting league in the Americas, and we'll be back with more action from the Brasileirão.